It is with a heavy heart that I can confirm a sixth child has lost their life following the Hillcrest Primary School tragedy. I was advised earlier today that an 11-year-old boy died in hospital this afternoon. His name is Chase Harrison. Our thoughts continue to be with his family and all other families and the loved ones of the children involved. 9 children were seriously injured in Thursday's incident. Devastatingly, 6 children have now passed away. Two children remain in critical conditions in the Royal Hobart Hospital. Another is now recovering at home. We're again asking media to be respectful of the families and those involved to allow them space to grieve and process this traumatic event. As I've said, our investigation in conjunction with WorkSafe Tasmania is ongoing and will be for some time. We are working tirelessly with all parties concerned to ensure the extensive investigation is completed as a matter of priority for the coroner. The investigation is being led by Devonport's Criminal Investigation Branch with the assistance from officers from Launceston CIB under the direction of the coroner. Their priority will be to interview all witnesses, gather and analyse forensic evidence and all environmental aspects, including weather patterns and conditions at the time of this incident. Given the magnitude of this critical incident and the need to speak to a large number of traumatised children within a short period of time, we have accepted an offer from New South Wales Police to assist in conducting interviews in relation to this tragic event. 4 forensic child interviewers will travel to Tasmania today to help conduct interviews with young witnesses over the coming days. It is paramount we don't preempt any outcome until all evidence is gathered and the investigation is complete. This will allow the coroner to determine the findings based on all the available evidence and facts. In terms of community recovery, a cross-agency social recovery committee is conducting a needs assessment, and that advice is being provided to government to make sure we know what the community and the families need and what more can be done to provide assistance. The whole community, and particularly the Devonport region, is feeling this loss deeply. The loss of 6 young lives will be felt for a very long time, so please support those around you and please ask for help if you're struggling. Again, my heart goes out to all those affected and my thoughts are with them. I'll now hand over to the Premier to make a couple of comments.
Thanks, Commissioner. I firstly want to offer my sincere condolences and deepest sympathy to the family at this very, very sad time. I'm certain that all Tasmanians share with me a deep sadness and a heartache that young Chase Harrison, another child involved in this terrible tragedy, has now passed away. I know that our community, which is so connected, will be deeply saddened for the family involved and indeed for all of the families of the now 6 children who have lost their lives in this tragedy. We all feel this terrible loss, and I know Tasmanians across the state send their love and support in these most tragic of circumstances. I also know that our community, without exception, will collectively continue to hope and to pray that the 2 children who remain in hospital in critical condition will be able to recover. As a community, we are grateful for the outpouring of support for all those involved, from Devonport, throughout Tasmania, across Australia, and indeed right across the world. Thank you all for this support at this very, very sad time. To all of the families impacted by this terrible tragedy, we will continue to support you. As the Commissioner has just said, we've established the Regional Support Committee and will continue to work through that and take advice. We will continue to provide whatever support we can to all of those directly impacted, the students, the staff, the broader community, and to our emergency services and our first responders, who I know have been deeply impacted. I know that I speak for all Tasmanians when I say that we will continue to stand with you through this. My heart goes out to everyone impacted by this tragic event. I know that this tragic, terribly sad event has impacted many, many people. And I want to once again say, please reach out for support to one of our helplines if you want someone to speak to. They're not just numbers on a screen, they're there for help when help is needed. Please call Lifeline on 131114 or Kids Helpline on 1800 551 800, a Tasmanian helpline on 1800 332 388, or Beyond Blue on 1300 224 636. Thank you.
Thanks, Premier. Happy to take questions.
Can you talk us through some of the complicated nature of interviewing such a large volume of children as well in this investigation?
We know there was over 40 grade 5 and 6 children there, so we have to do it in a sensitive manner. That's why we've accepted the offer of New South Wales Police to assist us in that specialised service. So we know they're traumatised, we know it's difficult for those involved, so we want to make sure we got the best services to interview all those children who are affected.
How long will those police officers be down there for?
As long as it takes, and hopefully we can get the interviews done in a quicker time as possible, being sensitive to the needs of the children and the families. We can only imagine how traumatic it is for everyone involved.
Do we know how those classmates are doing at the moment?
Sorry?
Do we know how those classmates are doing at the moment?
No. Well, their support from the Education Department they've reached out to make sure they got the support. And there's going to be different reactions, as we know, but the counselling support offered by the Education Department are there to make sure that they receive the necessary counselling they need. And there's going to be various reactions, but the Education Department have a very sophisticated and well-versed support mechanism around these children.
And Chase, do we know when he died?
Sadly, he died today, only a short time ago. So the family is obviously grieving and traumatised by this, but they have agreed for Chase as a name to be released, and there'll be a photo released as well.
What support has been offered to his family?
As we speak, we have welfare officers with them, and to also make sure they can travel back to Devonport safely. They are down here in Hobart. So we have a support mechanism wrapped around them to help them deal with this unbelievable and traumatic situation.
The other children that are still in hospital, how are they going?
They're described as a critical condition. So again, our thoughts and our prayers are with those children and their families.
I know you said that this investigation will take as long as it needs, but do you have any kind of idea as to whether it's going to take weeks or months to find out how this occurred?
It is a priority of Tasmania Police on behalf of the coroner, and also the WorkSafe investigation is a priority for them too. So it will take as long as it takes, but obviously it is a priority for us to make sure that we can get the investigation filed to the coroner as soon as possible.
In terms of that though, do you know if it could take months?
Look, it's too early to say. There's a lot of pieces of this investigation that need to be pulled together. So we don't really rush it, but we also understand that the community wants answers, and we understand that too, so we can get that information to the coroner, and then the coroner can decide what further investigation or what's their actions after that.
We've seen support from around the country. How has that felt for your officers and the people involved?
I've had messages from the Prime Minister and phone calls from the Prime Minister, from my work colleagues, and those messages support have come from many and varied. And even walking down the street, as the Premier's mentioned as well, people have been offering support not only to the community but also to the first responders, the teachers and the students as well. So again, this is one of the times where Tasmanians come together to support one another, because we know there is a lot of hurt in the community, and we want to support the Devonport region and the school community up there.
Have you spoken to the company that provided the jumping castle?
No, that's part of the investigation. So the CIB will speak to them as part of their investigation.
Do you know anything about Chase and, if he played any sports or, how involved he was in the school community?
I think that's a matter for the family to release those details. All we know now is that we've lost another young life, and that is sad. And we all need to respect the family and give them space as well. So that's something for the family to release those more intimate details.
This may be a better question for the Premier, but are there any plans for a state memorial service at this stage?
I spoke with the Mayor of Devonport on Friday. It seems so long ago now, like it's just a terrible set of circumstances we're in. But I indicated to her that as part of that regional support committee to consider what actions should be taken. But I think that in terms of this, I think we need to ensure that our thoughts at the moment are with those two children that are still critically hurt, and we'll work with obviously the families and understand their wishes as well as we work our way through it.
We heard yesterday that the Prime Minister is going to be offering a lot of support, especially in terms of psychologists and such, to help the area, get through what is a really traumatic time. Where are we at with that? When can we expect bodies on the ground to help there?
Well, obviously our chief psychiatrist and the education department, who have a lot of child psychologists as well, are working through those matters, and as and when we need to reach out, we will. Now, when I spoke to the Prime Minister both on Thursday and on Friday, he said that obviously they would provide what financial support they could, but importantly, if we needed to, reach out and ask for other people to come into the state from other jurisdictions, that he would assist with that. And so as we work through this, I'll be advised by the Regional Support Committee and the Department of Education in terms of the levels of support and whether or not we need to bring people in from interstate.
I'll ask you the same question I asked the Commissioner. We know that Tasmanians rally behind each other in these kind of circumstances. How's it felt to see the entire nation get behind Tasmania and this Devonport community?
Look, I think collectively, we all know that Tasmanians have good hearts, and at a time like this, it hasn't surprised me at all that across Tasmania there has been an outpouring of support and a collective feeling of grief. But to see the country stand up as well and offer its support, and to have messages from different parts of the country, but also from right around the world of support at this time, has filled me with great heart. But I'd make this point. None of us can understand just how difficult it is for those 6 families who've lost children. And importantly, that support and wishes that we're seeing from around the world is obviously now focused on ensuring that those 2 young children get the support and care that they need, and hopefully they can fully recover.
As Premier, when would you like to see this investigation completed?
Well, I'm of a similar mind to the Commissioner. Obviously, we understand that the community wants answers, but importantly, this needs to be worked through. It's obviously, police are conducting the inquiry on behalf of the coroner. WorkSafe Tasmania are involved, and we need to work through that. But it's a challenging issue. There are obviously a number of witnesses, many of them children, that need to be spoken to, and we'll need to take the right amount of time to ensure that we can deal with both the investigation in a timely way, but also provide the support to the people that will need to provide information.
How are the first responders going with all the back at the scene today? Have you spoken with them personally?
Look, I've spoken with a number of the police that were there. I haven't spoken with any of the ambulance support staff, but the Commissioner might like to add there. What I would say is that I think we can all understand how traumatic it is to attend any form of incident, but to attend an incident like this where young children are involved, and the number of young children, it must have been dreadfully difficult, dreadfully hard for those that were first on the scene.
And have you met with any of the families?
No, I haven't as yet. It would be my intention to reach out, but obviously this is a very difficult time for the families, and they need the opportunity to grieve and to collect their thoughts, but at an appropriate time. If it's seen as being something that would assist the families, then I would obviously reach out.